So, yeah, I think the difficulty for Conor Benn in this fight is the weight and is the size. I think he's a better fighter. And I think at a natural weight class, he's a big favourite in the fight. But coming up 2 weight classes, it makes it a 50-50 fight. And you ain't going to blink in this one.
Hearn breaks it down with brutal honesty. Conor Benn is stepping into dangerous territory. And the biggest hurdle isn't skill at size. Moving up 2 weight classes isn't just a challenge. It's a complete game shared as natural weight. Benn will be the heavy favorite. But now the fight is a dead even battle, where every second counts. The power difference, the physicality, and the endurance factor all come into play, making this an unforgiving test of Benn's adaptability. One mistake, one miscalculation, and it could be over in an instant, with both fighters carrying serious knockout potential. This is a war where nobody can afford to take their eyes off the action. The real question is, can Benn defy the odds, adapt to the size disadvantage, and prove he belongs at this level, or will the weight jump expose the limits of his power? This is a fight where nothing is guaranteed, and that's what makes it so dangerous.
Benn is an animal with a hot head. And as soon as that bell goes, you've only got to watch Nigel Benn's fights and Conor Benn's fights in his career so far to realise he's going to set about him from the first bell.
Eddie Hearn isn't sugarcoating it. Conor Benn is a relentless force, a pure animal in the ring with a fire that refuses to be tamed. The moment the bell rings. It's all-out war. Just look at his career, or even his father's legendary battles. There's no feeling-out process, no patience, just immediate destruction. Benn thrives in chaos, overwhelming opponents with explosive aggression and relentless pressure. But here's the catch: will that same firepower be enough when facing a bigger, stronger opponent? Charging in from the opening bell is a high-risk strategy, and against the wrong opponent, it could backfire in brutal fashion. This fight won't be about survival, it'll be about who can impose. First, the question remains, will Benn's relentless assault break his opponent? Or will he walk straight into danger and pay the ultimate price? One thing is certain: this fight won't need the judges. If you are enjoying this video, drop your thoughts in the comments below.
It's going to be a firefight. You know, for all the promotion, for all the nonsense, for all the crap, you've got 2 fighters here. Might not be for a world title, but if you want to see a scrap, you're going to see one, because these two like to fight. Look at their careers. They are the fighters. They are the brawlers. They love it. And they only know one way. And that's what's going to happen on April 26th. They're going to meet in the ring, in the center of the ring, and they're going to go off. And that's why the casual fans are going to love this fight.
Ben Shalom isn't dressing this up as anything other than what it is: a straight-up war. Forget the belts, forget the build-up, forget the trash talk. This is about 2 pure fighters, 2 brawlers, who only know one way to fight: full throttle. Their careers prove it. They don't dance around, they don't play it safe, they come to throw down. And come April 26th, there won't be any feeling-out rounds, no cautious jabs from a distance. These two are meeting dead center in the ring, and once that first punch lands, it's going to be absolute chaos. This is the kind of fight that gets the casuals hyped, the type of battle that turns arenas into mad houses. The question isn't whether this fight will deliver, it's how long these two can take the heat before one of them drops. Expect fireworks, because this one won't go the dist.
But Eubank Jr. is his own man, and that's what he's always tried to make out. This is me, this is my career, and this is how I do things. Dad, that was your era, that was your time, blah, 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 let me do this. But I'm sure he'd love to have him sat ringside watching him.
Him, on the other hand, Joe Gallagher, doesn't hold back when discussing Chris Eubank Jr.'s relentless pursuit of independence. Eubank Jr. refuses to follow his father's path, determined to carve out his own legacy at any cost. But here's the catch: despite the defiance, there's an unspoken need for validation. He won't admit it, but deep down, having his father in his corner witnessing his dominance would mean everything. That's the uncomfortable truth no one talks about. Meanwhile, the real question lingers: can he truly reach the pinnacle without that support, or is he unknowingly trapped in a battle against his own history? The pressure is mounting, the expectations are suffocating, and the time for proving himself is now. This isn't just about boxing, it's about identity, legacy, and a fight far, far bigger than any opponent in the ring. The clock is ticking, and the toughest challenge of his career is unfolding.
I think it'll be a mismatch, just as much a mismatch as the presses have been. It will be a similar format, playing out in the physical. Chris is way too much, and that will become evident as the rounds go on in the fight.
Meanwhile, Hearn Eubank is unwavering in his assessment of potential showdown, making it clear that he sees a glaring mismatch. From the press conferences alone, the gap between the 2 fighters was evident, and he predicts the actual fight will expose that divide even further. On the other hand, Chris's superior physicality will take center stage, and as the rounds progress, that dominance will become undeniable, hence Harlem expects a one-sided beatdown, with Chris proving to be far too much for his opponent to handle. The question is, will this fight go exactly as Harlem envisions, or is there an upset brewing in the shadows?
Connor's his dad's son, and his dad's exactly the same. And the Eubanks and the Benns, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And so there'll always be that family rivalry going on. And Chris's aloof personality, riles Connor, like his dad did, with their dads did. So he knows exactly what he's got to do.
Moreover, Johnny Nelson isn't mincing words. When it comes to Conor Benn making it clear that his antics have gone too far, Benn has repeatedly crossed a line, stirring up controversy with reckless statements and behavior that Nelson refuses to condone. On the other hand, when discussing Chris Eubank Jr., Nelson takes a different stance, recognizing his dedication and consistency in forging his own legacy. Meanwhile, Benn's actions have cast a shadow over his reputation, fueling endless debates among fans and pundits about his character. Hence, Nelson sees a clear divide while Eubank Jr. stays focused on the fight. Benn is tangled in unnecessary drama that only drags him down. The real question is, will Benn's in-ring performance silence the critics, or is he on the verge of letting the chaos consume him? It's actually a good thing sometimes.
It's actually a good thing sometimes to have a little bit of weight to train up. Not a lot, but, and I think that's what Eubank's got, whereas Conor is already at the weight, or there or thereabouts. So that's also a benefit in the sense like he can now just completely fuel his training and fuel his performance. But it's always going to favour the bigger man. Always going to favour the bigger man. But age is the biggest factor for me in this fight.
McGann highlights the subtle but significant advantage of carrying extra weight during training, a tactic that works to Eubank Jr.'s benefit. He argues that the added weight gives Eubank Jr. something to push against, enhancing his strength and conditioning. In contrast, Conor Benn is already close to his fight weight, allowing him to focus purely on refining his technique and fueling his training. While this may seem like a smart approach, for Benn, McCann believes a bigger fighter often holds the upper hand in a matchup like this. On the other hand, McGann identifies age as the crucial factor in this fight. Despite Benn's superior conditioning, age could play a major role in stamina and recovery, tipping the scales in favor of Eubank Jr. It's clear while both fighters have their strengths, age and physicality could ultimately decide who comes out on top.
I'm also very close with Conor Benn. He's a good pal of mine, so it's very hard for me to sort of sit back and say this or say that. I think they're doing a fantastic job in selling their fight. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. They both obviously have the needle with each other, and they're both going to give it everything. So be prepared for war, and I hope they get out of the ring safe and sound.
Shares the difficulty of being neutral in the upcoming fight between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. Given his close connections to both fighters, he reveals that Benn has been training in his gym, and he has a solid bond with him, making it tough to pick a side. Despite this, he commends both fighters for the way they build up the fight. Noting their personal rivalry and the intensity it brings, Welch is clear about one thing: this is going to be a war. Both fighters will step into the ring with everything to prove, pushing themselves to their limits with the animosity between them. It's clear this will be a battle of pride and determination. Welch's only wish is for both fighters to emerge in the ring safe as they give their all in one of the most anticipated clashes in recent memory.
We are on good terms. I don't believe he didn't know about it.
No, you know I didn't know.
No, I don't, because I think you're a little bit snaky.
No, you know I didn't know.
No.
Don't talk.
No. Because,
no. You can't say things.
No, stop, because then I'll take you through it. Listen, I've been very nice to you lately.
You can't say things,
and I've been very nice to you lately. I've given you a big education in the last couple of weeks. I've told you were very lucky to be talking to me. Right. But we do get on well. We actually have a bit of banter. He actually, if you don't mind me saying, he was asking me potentially to go on Boxer's Ball.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Meanwhile, Adam Smith couldn't help but express his frustration over the growing tension in the situation, stating that while he and the other party were technically on good terms, he wasn't buying the claims of ignorance. Smith was quick to call out what he saw as a sneaky attitude, asserting that he didn't believe the other person wasn't aware of what had been happening. His annoyance was clear as he admitted to having been overly accommodating, only to be met with dismissals. On the other hand, Smith also lightened the mood, sharing some of the humorous moments they had shared, proving that even amid the tension there was still room for a laugh. He even mentioned half-jokingly the suggestion of joining them on Box, as believing fans to wonder whether it was a casual comment or something deeper despite the underlying tension, a complex connection remained with plenty of unanswered questions lingering.
Really, I mean, I didn't know he was going to pull an egg out of his pocket and slap it round his head, but, you know, it was always going to be some form of drama. And, yeah, it was always going to happen. It spiced it up. Like I say, I wasn't really surprised by it. Like, you know, maybe a little bit stupid, maybe not a little bit stupid. You know, maybe there was going to be something that's going to happen. Was it going to be Conor Benn? Was it going to be Chris Eubank Jr.? But I think that shows you the rivalry between these two and the feuds between these.
On the other hand, Spencer Oliver wasn't exactly shocked by the egg stunt, though he wasn't expected to escalate in such a bizarre way. Drama was always going to be part of the equation, and with the tension between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., it was clear something big was brewing. Oliver points out that the egg slap was a bit stupid, but it also highlights the deep underlying rivalry between these two fighters. A fight was never going to be just about boxing, it's personal, and that moment proved that the egg wasn't just an absurd moment. It was a symbol of everything that's been simmering between them for so long. Benn and Eubank Jr. have been circling each other for years, and with emotions running high, this was bound to boil over. Oliver recognizes that the animosity has always been there, and the egg slap only intensified it, adding fuel to an already blazing fire. What was once a fight for pride is now more than that. It's a war, a battle of egos, and a showcase of just how far they're willing to go to tear each other down. One thing for sure, this rivalry is about to get even uglier. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.